the internet for that, and yeah, it's just major. Everything's going online.
Amazing, yeah.
So actually, I think we are going YouTube on live. So we're actually going to be live now, and I'm going to share with you the links so you can share it with people because the Facebook Live seems to be malfunctioning because I think they're getting too much Facebook Live.
Oh yeah, I can see it on my screen.
So I'm sharing this on the Facebook page and saying that we're live with Saule and Ryan.
Yes.
Saule or Saule? You need to
Saule.
Here.
Saule.
Saule.
Yeah, Saule.
Saule. Yeah. And
it was Saule, then it became Saule. Yeah.
I had a lovely session earlier before with a group of facilitation work that I've been doing, and we did this nice exercise in groups in which we were sharing our names and how we got our names.
Okay.
Which was fun to do. Challenging also, but interesting.
Yes. Well, I like telling the story of my name. It's true.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story?
I don't know that it's appropriate now, but sometimes I do. Yeah, it's an interesting story.
But it's so it's amazingly such a simple question, but not something that you get asked so many times.
No, true.
There is a level of vulnerability connected with it.
Yeah.
And
I have found the clip that you wanted that you were looking for. So I don't know how to show it, but I did find it.
Good.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Did you hear me, Udi?
I can hear you.
All right, good.
I'm
gonna come closer to you now. That way,
yes, we're both from
we're on the same space station.
Yes, I like
we're on the same space.
I like what's happening to your hair, Ron. It's like this. It's like you're in the wind is blowing it or something. What is that?
Yeah, well, there's a solar wind up here in the International Space Station. So let's get it a bit more.
Yeah, when you move, it changes.
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's blowing up and down. It's pretty amazing. I can't do that with my hair. How do you do it?
Well, you can in the video that Uri wanted to put up. You'll see you're doing it.
Okay, with my hair, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're live already for some minutes now, and we're still setting up. But
okay.
So Ron and me are launching, the crowdfunding to realize the film we started in 2017, which actually it all started through the connection that I have, that I feel with the Roy Hart voice work, which I find so inspiring. And Carol, cousin of my father and family member that came to Jerusalem when I was a young, I'm still young maybe, but a student of theater, and she was giving this workshop near Jerusalem, and I found this work so powerful. Nothing like anything else I was learning, and I still feel it to be one of the most powerful ways of working with theater and with people. It always amazes me the 1 hour with a piano and another person, and what the things that you touch in yourself in those spaces is quite amazing. And Ron, who we were friends before, and this opportunity came to come and film you, the group of Generation, all teachers and all longtime members of the Roy Hart Theater, in Malerarg performing together. And I said, well, Ron, let's do it. And he came in. And since there, we are in space. You know, we were launched into space, and we're still floating around the planet trying to find a landing position for this film.
In fact, the crowdfunding actually is for funding to enable us to connect with Houston and return to Earth.
That's a good way of putting it. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, I wanted to show a clip from the performance generation in which you, Saule, is performing, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about. I said the soul in the voice, or the voice of the soul, and it's a theme that we can kind of try and touch, and your thoughts about that and your experience of that. And Ron is, I think, preparing our clip, but we see a little.
Yeah, the clip is ready. Do I have to do share my screen? Is that how it works?
Yes, yes, you have to do share screen.
And then I have to go to that screen, because otherwise I'm sharing this screen, right?
Yes.
Or okay, so now I'm going to share the screen. And wait a minute. Hold on, I have to change my desktop, perhaps. Not sure how that's going to work. Do you see something of from the performance now?
No. Not yet. No.
What are you seeing?
Still the same.
We still see you.
Still see?
The three of us.
Yeah.
All right. Wait a minute. How am I going to do this?
You do share. Oh, here we have David.
David's appearing.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Hello, David.
You're gate crashing, David.
Well, I just dropped. Oh God.
Your name is there, not your face. Hi.
Yes.
Hang on. I'll be back. Here we are. Oh. I just got lost.
We're all lost in space.
We're in a space show.
I don't know what happened there.
We like your name.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah, we can hear you very well.
Oh shit! What happened?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you seeing Saul now?
No.
No.
Ron is trying to put
Okay.
something on.
Hang on. Oh,
So,
yeah.
Yes, you're seeing it?
Yeah.
You need to do share and no.
Now I have to share the screen. Okay, because I am seeing it. Wait 1 moment, please.
Ron is
I will
trying to show
share.
something, David.
Here we go.
Yes.
This should work now. Now you see a split screen.
I can see you. I can see all three of you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ron is actually trying to show a clip.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all right. He's trying to figure it out.
So you have
No,
to,
I've clicked on share screen. Oh, here we go. Let's see now.
and then you have to choose.
Okay.
Then it opens.
Yeah. So now,
Yes.
are we
Yeah, I got
there? Okay.
Now we got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
so
right. You want, and I'll turn the sound on as well.
yeah, and you need to also share your sound. So you know how to do that?
Yeah. I think am I not sharing my sound now?
Well,
You don't hear me?
yeah, I can hear
Oh,
you.
that's through the microphone though. You want to share the other sound. Well, no, I'm not sure how to do that. Oh, wait a minute. Now that's gone.
Oh God.
I can see Sasho.
1 second. I have to go back to Zoom here.
This is
Stop
exciting.
sharing screen. Udi, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now, but
Okay, so let's start with a conversation. Then we'll figure out. Maybe I'll show you something from my screen. So when you do, Ron, just when you do share screen, on the bottom you have share computer sound. This box has to be clicked share computer sound. So when you start the sharing, you have a sort of menu. In that moment, you have a box you have to click, which is share computer sound.
yes, I see that. Okay, I'm ready to do that now if you want.
Okay. Yeah, so we're seeing a clip from Saule's performance in Generation, and then we will have a conversation with Saule and maybe David about the soul and the voice. and the voice in Saule. Let's see, take 2. Yes.
You see what you see? Seeing this Are you seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing it. I clicked on it.
That's it, I guess.
Thank
Is that
you.
all there is?
Yes,
Hold
that's
on,
it.
let me see if that's the whole clip. Something went weird.
It was the end of the
Yeah.
end of my piece. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that clip was only that long. I mean, so
Yeah.
anyway, it'll serve to get the conversation going.
Yeah.
Udi,
Yeah.
are you hearing me?
Yes, we hear you. We
Okay,
hear you.
good. All right.
So thank you, Ron. And yeah, I said that I really love this part of the performance and this moment in which you touch your hair, right? And you say sad. There's another moment, it's not in this clip, in which you kind of sit on your chair and there is a sort of silence there, you know. And
yeah, that's the very end of my piece. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel it's to be a very soulful moment, you know, touching some kind of human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, what do you think about it?
Well, I'm a light sort of person in many different ways. And physically, I'm light, and I like to keep things light. So, and this was a chance for me to be really light and enjoying myself on stage. It's a text I wrote hundreds of years ago, which doesn't really mean anything. I used to like playing with words, still do actually. So it's not necessarily obvious for me that I'm going deep or touching my deep soul in some way, but I do enjoy it. And I think the fact that the enjoyment can be seen, I think that is important, and I'm enjoying it, and I think the audience enjoys it too. Even the French audience who can't understand a word, they come up to me afterwards and they say, what does your text mean? We'd love to have a translation. And I say, well, it doesn't really mean very much at all. There are some lines which mean something. So it's my way of expressing myself. Over the years, I've been involved in many different performances where I've usually had to play a role with a text, a set text, sometimes in French, sometimes in English. And that's hasn't always been easy. I've done the best I can. But here somehow I was being myself, whatever that means. And it was very freeing and very enjoyable. And each time I could do something slightly different. So what comes through, I'm not totally certain, other than that I'm enjoying myself. And the chorus is behind me, supporting me. So yeah, I'd be interested to know you received something from that particular part, which is towards the end, actually. Yeah, I mean, there are some religious references. I was brought up a Roman Catholic, went to a Jesuit school for 10 years, boarding school, went to church every morning, every evening. So there are one or two little religious references which come up rather in a humorous sort of way. So, and my last phrase is sad minster's minister. Then I sit on the chair and then I say phew. Yeah. So,
yeah.
So that's what I can say about it. Did you want to say anything else about it? Ask me or?
Yes. I mean, maybe Ron has a question. We were talking yesterday about Yeah, that we made some wonderful interviews when we came, but I guess there are still questions that we have that we want to explore, and I think something was around the voice. Maybe Ron, you want to raise?
Yeah. Well, what I was wondering about when we talked in Malerar, you know, Uri asked you this question about what was your entry point into the whole adventure, you know, and the dream of this group of people who were following at that point the work of Roy Hart, and which was, you know, centered around the voice and exploration of the voice, and then connecting that to an exploration of let's say human psychology and freeing oneself, actually, yeah. And the answer you gave then was about that you were very deeply impressed by the quality of the presence of that group of people, how they looked at each other, how they listened to each other, and so on. Right. And now I'm wondering more specifically to the voice itself. I mean, I you know, in my daily practice, I use the voice as well, and having made theater for, you know, 40 years, dance theater, not based on classical texts or anything like that. So there were no roles. People were just, including myself, just being ourselves, actually. But the voice is, you know, important. And so I'm just wondering what is the gift for you in this moment of time and in your life? This work on the voice, this research, this I imagine daily connection with it somehow. Also, what you try to transmit to people when you teach. Yeah. How can you articulate that? What is that? What is its heart?
Well, that's good.
Written with the EA.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's true that I think when we teach, we're in a very privileged situation, and it's one that I really enjoy, helping people maybe discover their voice, find their voice, certainly explore their voice, all the different possibilities, some of which they have no idea that they have already. That's always very very inspiring for me as somebody so-called teaching them. It's very rich, and I always come away from a workshop feeling much more alive than when I went in. I mean, I'm not, some of us are more disciplined than others, and I'm not somebody who does daily work on my voice. I could, but I don't. I mean, Roy Hart did that. I mean, he died, he was only 48 when he died, but he did do work on his voice every day, pretty much, I think. I don't do that. I like exercise, I like moving. I don't necessarily go towards using my voice so much. So I always enjoy the moments of teaching. I also enjoy the moments of rehearsing, like with Generation was a real gift to be able to work with the others and to work on our voices in that context. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, really. I feel that I'm in a privileged position, and I do feel that I'm helping people obviously get in touch, not just with their voice, but with other things as well, in their psyche and their soul. You know, Alfred Wilson's famous phrase about the voice is the muscle of the soul. You definitely feel that quite often in the work and in the teaching. Myself, I think I'm a little lazy, if I have to be honest. I'm better when I'm being encouraged or pushed myself to use my voice. On my own, not so much. That's to be honest, that's my honest reflection. But I still love this work that we do on the voice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. What was your interpretation of the voice being the muscle of the soul? Because it could be, you know, the voice is the direct expression of the soul, or, you know, reveals the soul. the window of the soul, whatever. But you know, the muscle is interesting.
The muscle is a good word because, as you know, we do a quite strong work on the voice, which involves quite a lot of physical support, energy, and it's not always approved of by people who've been trained classically because they feel you're going to hurt your vocal cords and that it's not necessarily productive. But I often say to students after 1 or 2 days in a workshop, you know, we are working muscles here. It's like going to the gym and doing a physical workout. We're doing it with our voices. And so you are going to feel some effects. The voice will be tired, maybe in the evening, maybe next day it won't be quite as pure as you would like it to be. I mean, it's people who are trained as singers who really feel that the most. If we work with people who haven't really done much singing, there's not so much of a problem there. But for singers, it can be difficult to feel that they're being asked to use quite a lot of energy, sometimes, you know, really screaming out or making broken sounds. So it is a physical thing, and I feel it does use muscles that you don't often use when you're just using your normal voice. So that's my interpretation. I like the word muscle.
It's interesting. Yeah, it's just you're giving me a clear. I mean, it resonates with me. Also in the sense of this interview, or it's not an interview, it's a voiceover in a clip that we have from the archives of Roy. I believe it's a text that Dorothy wrote, I think, but anyway, whatever. I don't know the details of it, but he talks about encouraging people to breathe with their whole body as they produce sound, and that's something that I can recognize the power of that, and the integration of the whole being. Actually, there's a commitment there, that brings a kind of presence out. That's very strong.
Yeah, you have to be there 100%. And when we're working with strong sounds, maybe taking people up towards a scream, stop worrying about what's going on in your throat and just be there with your body, you know, physically prepared, using all your energy and all your muscles and your body. And that's not always easy for people who've been trained as singers. I mean, Alfred Wolfson, when you talk about, he used something called a bashing board. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
I didn't know him, I didn't work with him. But I know that in his lessons, he had a board or something against the wall, and he would push people against the board and he'd bash them, or, you know, I mean, we often work with a partner, helping each other, tapping on the chest or the lower back or pushing on the head. But he had what he called a bashing board, and he would do similar things himself with the pupil. Kaya could tell you about the bashing board, but I've only just heard about it. So it was, even for him, it was pretty physical. Yeah.
Thank you. It's
okay. Pleasure.
And I want to offer my own connection to this moment, and it came to me as you were talking, and why I'm really, you know, I feel very connected at this moment in the performance in which you're having this. So you're having this text. And then there is the sad, and you say it's light, but then you're saying sad, you know, this contradiction somehow between the lightness and the sadness. And also when you sit down, you know, and again, it's my interpretation. I wonder what you make of it, but you know, when I saw the performance, and I saw it more than once, it felt to me that although there were texts that seemingly interconnected, and they were really about you bringing your rich experience of working with the voice, I could almost sense the subtext of the story was connected to your own collective story as Roy Hart Theatre. And I very much connect your performance to the moment of the death of Roy. And for me, the Minister of Ministers is a sort of, you know, Roy gone, you know, this moment. I feel as this moment of what now, you know, it feels like that moment. but also it feels like on the collective experience, and I want to connect it to the moment we are living in right now, because I feel we are in this moment of sadness and lightness and craziness, and everything is sort of collapsing in a way, you know. And I wonder, how do you feel that? Do you feel that? Do you feel this, or am I only me feeling this collapse moment? And this,
No,
and how are you experiencing that?
Yeah. So your the connection, I don't know whether the others are feeling this, but your connection is not very good. You're coming in and out of it. I don't know whether Ron was feeling that or not.
Okay.
Just a little bit, yeah, but not a lot.
Okay. I more or less was able to pick up what you were saying. Do I feel that? Yes, I do. I mean, I think potentially it's a very what was it that Roy used to say? The moment of greatest peril is the moment of greatest hope, or something. I can't remember his exact words. He used to say that. I feel like it is such a moment. We've never had such a strong crisis. I don't think, as far as I can tell, not since the Spanish flu at the end of the First World War. And so it is a very, very strong moment. And I think there must be some hope there for changes in the way we're going to lead our lives and relate to others and carry on. I think so. It's a mixture of feelings. Yeah.
There is something, if I may add to that, there's something that Uri and I were talking about yesterday. One of the things that seems very clear to me, I'm in this quarantine situation in a villa in Tuscany with 20 other people, a very large place, not as large as Malerarg in the sense that there aren't that many buildings, but it's that scale, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that we've had some very serious discussions about we close ourselves off to the rest of the world, or we leave some channels open to the best friends of some of the teenagers here, and that kind of thing. But what is very clear to me is that one of the things that this situation is making very present for all of us, and I mean all of us. Now I really could talk about all of us.
Yes.
I mean, the whole, the global citizens.
We're all involved.
Exactly, we're all in the same situation, more or less. Is that there's a lot of importance, and hopefully this will be part of the transformation in strengthening our local community connections, our local economy connections. This globalization of things, it makes us extremely vulnerable.
Yes.
Actually. And so I think that the situation in Malerarg, or the situation that I'm in right here now, is being very much reinforced by this, because we're very fortunate. I mean, especially being in the country, we can go outside.
Yes.
You can go for a walk in nature. Imagine the people in a city like Milan or New York, or
terrible,
in a small apartment with their kids that they're not used to being with all that time. It's a big challenge. It's a very big challenge. And so I think that there's a privilege that we may have, but that privilege has been earned. See, I mean, you guys have gone through a lot.
Yes.
To be where you are.
Yes.
Now.
No. Yeah.
And it's been thanks to that devotion to this work and that dream. That is actually what the film, for me, now is becoming about. It always was, but now it's becoming clearer and clearer all the time to me that it's really about this, the importance of dreams, the importance of having something that you totally are devoted to, and that allows you to go through whatever challenges come up, and challenges do come up.
Yeah. No, it's true. We went through a lot, coming from London, 47 of us with Roy, and then losing Roy and Dorothy and Vivian. It was a huge ordeal that we went through, and somehow we were able to get through it and start to develop whatever it was we wanted to do in France. And we were helped by the French government and other cultural organizations. So it was a very, very strong experience. So we got through it, most of us anyway, those of us who are still here. And so I think we do feel that we've earned this this privilege. I mean, Carol and I are not going down a lot to the chateau. If we go down, we might see somebody. We're not trying to go into other people's apartments, but we are occasionally seeing people. So we're up here a lot, but we're so lucky to be up here. You know, our house and the terrace and the garden and walking around. It's just fantastic. And so just to think of people cooped up in their apartments, maybe with 2 or 3 kids in cities, is just very hard to imagine what that can be like. So we are lucky, very lucky. Yeah.
Udi, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just to keep my connection. I removed my video, but I'm here, and I was sharing also I think we're almost kind of around. We're trying to do this about 30 minutes each evening.
Right.
This
yeah.
Interviews and going live. Usually on Facebook, but this was on YouTube because the Facebook Live is apparently too full. I don't know.
Okay.
They're just
so actually went on YouTube.
Servers are melting down. So this is on YouTube. I shared the link in the video,
okay.
and it will be available for other people to watch later. And we say hello to everyone watching, and obviously mentioning that we are doing a crowdfunding to continue this film that is very much something that I resonate with what Ron says, that I feel that this moment, what is happening right now, is definitely going to be informant of our final film, because I feel that I feel the world cannot return to itself. It's just possible.
No.
This we are living in is just too formative in that sense. It's just it's those moments in which we cannot really go back. I feel, yeah, and I wonder again with maybe some final words from Saule as well, and from Ron, from all of us, about something about the world right now, and maybe sending a message somehow to people. And you know, I'll start by saying, I started by saying how this voice work has been so impactful for me, and I've experienced it as such a powerful experience, and in a way it has led me and still lead me on pursuing presence, being more alive, and this is one of the kind of, the victories that and the beauty that I find in Generation is this, you're there, and Kaya is there, 84, and people that usually are right now in elderly.
Here I've lost you completely.
Can you hear me still?
No,
yes.
not on the Udi, okay. I can't, you're not coming through.
I can hear myself. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, so anyway, so I was saying that I feel that this aliveness, this choosing being more alive, that's my hope for the future, that as we are coming out and coming out from that, we will choose more aliveness as a choice. That's my hope, my wish.
Good. I go along with that. I agree with you.
Great.
Let's be more alive.
It's not. I'm not able to hear you.
Yeah. I think you got disconnected, but now you're back. Now you're.
Now I see you. Yeah. Now you're there.
Oh, I'm there, and I'm not there.
I was disconnected for sure. Yeah.
But so Ron, I was doing my closing. I don't know if you want to add something to close besides saying that we are on the Indiegogo, so you can find us there. And
well, I think, yeah, there's just one short thing. When you were saying that the world cannot go back to, let's say, normal, or what it was normal, I think there's something more asked of us than that. I don't think it cannot go back. I think it's a choice that we need to make. And in the film, for example, Ian is talking about that moment after Roy's and Dorothy and Vivian's death, where he said, we really had a serious meeting in that room. He said. And we were deciding, do we go on with this or do we go back, you know? And obviously you decided to go on. I think that is required of us at this moment too. It's not going to happen by itself. There's a lot of forces working to go back to normal and even, you know, accentuate that normality with more control and more international economic agreements which are favoring the status quo. I think it's really important for us to all reflect seriously and realize what kind of world we want to be living in, what kind of lives we want to be leading, and that leading is about leadership. And so yeah, I think we're all called upon to do some of that now. And that's my hope.
Yeah. Oh, good for you. Yeah, I hope the same thing. Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for inviting me today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to see you.
Nice to see you both. Yeah. And when is your next one? Do you know when you're doing your next? Are you doing it every day or?
Yeah, our plan to do it is every day.
Okay.
And you know, we might take it.
Somebody's arrived.
Wow, magical appearance of Carol there.
Yeah. The cook has arrived. I can smell my dinner.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Things are happening here.
Good. Carol, you're very invited to be our guest in one of our evening shows. If you want
to be
in our yes.
Well, we'll see. I like directing, but I'm producing people to get on here.
Well, you can bring us a recipe also. It would be fine.
It smells very good. Unfortunately, you can't smell it. It smells good.
I like what's behind you.
Yeah, they've got lovely backgrounds.
Yeah, that's very nice.
I couldn't.
We decided to take a higher perspective on everything, and
they're flowing very high.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good. Yeah, I could hear parts of it.
Good.
Okay.
So I'm going off. I don't know if I can do that. Okay. So, but I'm just saying goodbye and have a good dinner. And
thank you.
Please, would love to have you as well. And David, that is here with us as well in our shows. And have a good evening.
Yes.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you very much.
Maybe see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Singing lesson, or
Bye, David.
Bye, David.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay well.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
So I'm not really sure if I can stop now. I just need to close the meeting. So I'm going to close the meeting because that's the only way I know to stop the streaming. But
okay. Close it.
So we say goodbye to everyone. We can say